Hiya, Laurie here and welcome to my channel. So I have been wanting to do a giveaway for ages. Since before I hit 100 subscribers, I wanted to do a giveaway. I'm now over 200 subscribers, which, by the way, thank you so much. That is amazing. So I thought I would do a giveaway, but I wanted to do it in a sort of way where it was a sort of craft along and then a giveaway. So I thought that since a lot of you really enjoyed my Amazon packaging series, that we would do something like that. Not the same, but very similar. A lot of people have been doing ephemera folders recently. So this is my kind of take on it. I've used the Amazon, one of these guys, where it's like so. And I've turned it into an ephemera folder. We can flip it around this way. So I've just covered it with fabric. I've put a little book plate, and then it pops open with the little pop button type things, and then it flips open like so. And I've got a pocket here and a pocket here, and then I've got several pages, and this is like my label one. So I've got all my labels in these little acetate style pockets. And yeah, so I thought we would make one of these together, and then at the end it would be the giveaway. So I would love to hear your input down below in the comments. So today what we're going to do, we're going to cover it with fabric and then do the inside part. So just covering the inside basically, and then you can let me know what kind of papers and stuff you want me to use. I keep closing this and I don't know why. So in this one I've used some vintage book pages on one side and then some scrapbooking paper on the other, and I've done that for every page. So every page is a signature, and I've just stitched them in with a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. I prefer a 5-hole, as I prefer how much more secure it feels compared to the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Obviously, if you're crafting along, you can do whatever you prefer. And I'll show you some kind of tips and tricks along the way. So let's just get started. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed and who's watching and crafting along. I really appreciate every single one of these, and I really love it when you leave comments and interact. It just makes my day. So thank you so much to every one of you guys. So I'm not going to be naming this video or this series giveaway because I don't want anyone to come in purely for the giveaway, if that makes sense. So it's only going to be to those who are actively watching the videos that will be included in the giveaway at the end. So I'm just going to remove all the little annoying bits that we really don't need. So like this bit here, don't worry if it tears like this because we are going to be covering this up. And like this perforated edge, I'm going to trim that off in a second as well. I'm going to see if I can like tear this off as well, so I don't want it to show through my fabric. Just because it's quite dark ink that they use, quite bold ink that they use. I'm still trying to kind of figure out my camera situation because it seems to zoom in every time I start filming, and I don't know how to stop that from happening because I just use my phone. So it seems to zoom in quite a bit whenever I hit for it to record, and if anyone knows how to avoid that, I would love to know how to fix that. So yeah, I've just removed all of the bits. I'm also going to take away these bits because we're not going to be using these this time around. So I'm just pulling it from the inside because this bit folds over, so you don't want to start ripping it from there. So if you rip it from this part, it's just going to make your life a little bit easier. And then I'll just trim it off at the end, or the edge. So how is everybody anyway? I hope you are all doing well. I hope you are all set for Christmas. Try not to put too much pressure on yourselves this year. Everyone's struggling. Everyone's not going to have the same sort of experience for Christmas that they normally would. So just try and enjoy your time with your family and not put too much pressure on yourself. I know it's hard, but just enjoy Christmas. Oh God. Just need to grab my paper trimmer. Yeah, so try and just enjoy Christmas as a family time rather than worrying about all that annoying stuff that we tend to worry about regardless of what anybody says. I'm the same. So I've just trimmed off literally a very tiny amount just to get rid of that perforated edge. And I've picked out this fabric here because, I mean, how freaking gorgeous is that? It is just beautiful. I absolutely love this. So I'm going to have a quick check and just see if it's going to cover this without anything kind of shining through. If your fabric does sort of shine, like the cardboard underneath sort of peeks through, you can cover it with just plain white paper and that'll disguise that. I've had to do that in the past. That seems to be fine. Because of the type of cardboard it is, I would definitely say not to use a wet glue for this. I have done that and it doesn't go too well. I'll actually show you what I mean in a second. Why is it I always pick up the scissors that are just not want to work for me? Hold on. So I just grabbed my other scissors and I've literally just trimmed it so that it fits without too much overlay. I want a decent amount of overlay, but not too much. If that makes sense. I'm just going to clear my desk a little bit. But what I meant by the PVA glue is I've done that in the past, and as you can see, it just warps the cardboard underneath and makes it all wrinkly and just not as pretty, basically, as it could be. So I'm going to be using the 3-in-1 Beacon Advanced Craft Glue, and any kind of fabric glue will work here. So I'm just going to put glue everywhere, making sure that I get right to the edge. You can sew around this, obviously, if you want. I tried to sew around it in the past and my sewing machine was just not having it. So I want to make sure that this sticks down and it's not going anywhere. It was just a little bit too thick for my sewing machine. But obviously, if you think that your sewing machine can handle it, have at it. And then just going to flip it over and just use my hands to make sure I get all the wrinkles and everything out. How gorgeous is that? Oh, I'll definitely need to be picking up more of this. Don't know if that's any better, but I've tried kind of changing my camera slightly. Yeah, so I've glued down the rest of it and I'm just going to cut off the corners just slightly, just so that there's not too much overhang when I'm folding it over. And it's just not going to get in my way as much, basically. So what's everyone working on at the moment anyway? I'd love to know. Are you making Christmas presents? Are you doing your December daily? I've never done that, but I love watching other people's. So we're just going to glue the corners down at the bottom end first. going to glue this flap down now as well. So I had actually said that a friend of mine and I would be starting a series here on YouTube, and that we'd be doing a Christmas sort of teaser. Unfortunately, we're still kind of trying to figure out the technological side of things, so that's not going to happen, unfortunately. We will be doing our series, but not till after Christmas, just because it's hard to figure out. It's hard to figure out how to video chat and record it and and all that jazz. So I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. These corners though are, oh my goodness, I need to really figure this shit out. Excuse my language. They're like envelope shaped, so it's not as easy, I guess, because you're going to have to obviously accommodate for that, if that makes sense. So I'm going to just glue this down. Yeah, so we won't be doing that, unfortunately. We were planning on doing like a Christmas tag video to be released just before Christmas, but we're still trying to figure it all out. I would love if you guys knew how to go about recording like video chats, like WhatsApp or Messenger. I've tried a bunch of the apps that say they're going to record it, but they only record the video part. They don't record the sound. So you can see what we're doing, but you can't hear anything that we're saying, which is kind of pointless. So, and then the footage is grainy and it's just not the best. It's not ideal. So if got any tech savvy people out there that know how to get about that, I would love your help and advice. But we will definitely be doing it. It's just a matter of when. We're hoping to get it started and things soon after Christmas, maybe get it up in like February time. It just depends on when we get it filmed. So I've done the exact same thing. So as you can see, I've basically got like a little tab over this bit here, and then that'll fold over a lot smoother, and it's not going to bunch up as much as it would. I'm actually going to trim that slightly. It's not going to bunch up as much as it would if I'd left those little bits there. A little hack for you guys. And again, I'm still using the same glue. I love this glue. It dries so fast, and once it's dry, it's permanent. It's one of those glues that I have to have. If I run out, I cry. And my crafting literally comes to a standstill. It's one of those necessities in my crafting. What's your favourite crafting product? Do you have like your sort of ride or die? Is that the right way that goes, that saying? Sounds kind of scary. But what's your favourite product that you need, that you can't craft without, that you couldn't just go and replace it with something else, you know what I mean? Like if I lost my scissors, I could go grab another pair. I'm going to glue these sides on now. You know what I mean? If I lost or something got damaged, it's easily replaced, whereas this I need to get online on Amazon, and it usually takes a day or two to get to me. So it's like one of those things I try to always have one unopened, so that I've always got one in reserve. I actually just opened this one, so I'm going to have to order some more soon, because this was my reserve bottle. I did find a decent glue though, not that long ago, in the pound shop of all places, and it's called Oohoo, which is why I gave it a try, but it's their clear glue, and it's very similar. It's not as strong as this. I like to use it if I'm going to be sewing. So if I know I'm going to be sewing something, instead of using this, I'll use that, purely because it's not as strong. I don't know how long it would last, but I still really like it. Again, I'm just trimming off the excess here, and then I'm going to glue this down. Yeah, so I got it in the pound shop for £1, obviously, and I've actually, the only thing is, it stinks. It stinks so bad, and it's not like the acetone smell. It is really, really strong. I don't know if it's, I don't even know what it is. Like this one, you can definitely tell it's again acetone based glue, but I don't know what that one is. But if you're looking for a cheap glue and you live in the UK, I don't know where you would get it in the US. It's the first time I'd seen it ever. It was in the pound shop. I'll show you in a second. So I don't know. You could probably get it on Amazon or something though, but maybe not for the same price. I just grabbed it quickly. This is the glue I'm talking about. It's Boohoo Power All-Purpose Adhesive Glue, and it's supposed to do all these fun things. I use it for fabric and paper and card and stuff like that. If I'm using it for fabric though, like I said, I'll use it when I know I'm going to be sewing around it. For instance, if I'd been sewing around this, I would have used this because it's only £1. It comes in a little squeezy tube, which I'm not a huge fan of, but you get a decent amount for £1. 33 mils, which you get 118.56 mils of this. So it's probably not that cheap in comparison, but I like it. So this is where we're at. How stinking cute is this? Oh, I love it. So I'm just going to fold it back into the shape like so, and this is what it'll look like basically. So I want to fold where I want my spine area to be on the flap and on the actual spine. So I've got the spine here, and it's obviously a curved spine, which I don't want for this. I want an actual straight spine. And then there. And that will give us this. You can't even really see where it starts. But that will give us this, and we've got a decent sized gap in between for our signatures. So I really like this one. I don't want it too busy, like too colourful and in your face, but I really like the flowers down the sides. It's like a border all the way around. So I think I'm going to use this one here. It's assuming I have two of them. There we go. And I'm just taking that from this Floral Happiness Mix and Match paper, which I got from, I think that's B&M's sticker. It's only $2.99. So I had a look through this one as well, but I couldn't find one that I had two of, and I think I definitely need two that I really like. Let's shove those to the side. My glue's volcanoing, yay! So I keep needing to remind myself. So this is our front cover, basically. So I need to remind myself, because with the flap, I don't know why, but I always seem to think that should go on this side, and I don't. So what I do is I measure one here, one here, and then one from here all the way to here, but I score it where the spine area is. So we need 3 pieces basically. So I'm going to measure how much I need, and I'll be doing this in centimeters as that's what I use. So I'm going to need about just shy of 14.5 by 25. I'm just going to grab my wee doodad. So 25 is our height. So I want the flowers to be facing the right way. And then just shy of 14.5, so about there. How pretty! And that should fit perfectly right there. So what you can do as well, because obviously this is going to be showing, and it's totally optional, you do not need to do this, I'm just giving you an option if you want to do it. I'm trying to find one of the fabric pieces that I cut off that would maybe work. Is you can take fabric and like put it down the center of your spine, and that way when you've got this sitting, you're not going to see the cardboard and it's going to strengthen your spine. So you can do that if you want. I don't know if I will, because I don't actually have a bit that's wide enough. That was all I had of that fabric, unfortunately, but I could double layer it, I suppose, because you're not going to see this bit because we are going to be putting a bit of cardboard in front of it. I think I will. Like I said, it just adds that extra I keep having to go back and forth to the bin, where really I should just probably bring the bin over. It adds that extra bit of support and strength to your spine. But like I say, you don't have to do this. I didn't do this with my ones. It's just because I know they're for me, and I don't mind if they fall apart, because then I'll just fix them. But because I'm gifting this, I want to make sure it's extra strong. I'm going to just trim this down, and I'm trimming it down so that it will be under the cardboard when we stick that down. I'm just going to lift it up. So if you've been with me for a while, hi, thank you. But you'll remember that I used to do makeup videos like forever ago, and I absolutely loved doing them, but I haven't started doing them again yet, and I'm thinking that after Christmas is when I will start making them again. And I've been watching a YouTuber called Bailey Sarian, sorry if I butchered that. I'll try to remember to link her below. She does makeup and true crime stories, which I think are fascinating. Plus she's just that way where you want to watch her. But she was talking about how she kind of got into it, and it was basically she's really into true crime and she loves talking about it, but no one in her life is really that into it. And so she thought she would obviously start talking to her YouTube like followers and stuff, and start her own little community of people who are into the same thing and who want to chat about it. And I was like, that is such a good idea, because I'm really into history. I love watching history documentaries and things like that, but no one really wants to talk about it. You try to bring it up and you see their eyes glaze over and you're like, yeah, this is just boring them, but it's fascinating to me. So I was thinking that I could do something similar but with history topics that I'm really into at the time, and then we could chat about them in the comments afterwards. What do you guys think? Would you be interested in that? Because I would totally love to do that. I would love people to talk to about all this random history stuff that just eats away at my noggin. So I'm going to pop this one to the side, and then I'm going to measure out what I need for this one, because this one's small, so I can use the cut-offs to make that bit basically. So I need this to be, try to find my, there, so 24, and that'll be by 25 again, I guess. Yeah, 24 by 25. So I'm going to cut the 25. Yeah, so I was really liking the idea of doing that, so I would do my makeup at the same time and just chat. So I would love to know your thoughts on it. I may actually turn this round and do it this side, because I cut off that side last time. I don't think it matters. I think they're pretty much very similar, but that way I've got both sides of the image, and you know what I mean. So now I have all these little doodad bits. So I'm going to have a look at this one, because this one's already trimmed to the size I need it to be. And I'll pop these to the side. But I'm just going to quickly check that this is going to fit where I need it to. So there. How did I make that too tall? Did I make it? That's fine. So I'm going to just trim off a tiny bit of the top, or attempt to anyway. My paper trimmer hates me sometimes and doesn't let me trim off little bits, but that should be fine now. And then I'm just going to measure my spine. So let's see here. Where do you go to? I'm just going to fold that back in actually and see. I'm just going to fold it like this, because that's probably my easiest option. And I want it slightly inside the spine, so I don't want obviously it to catch on the edges. So 3.5. Yep, 3.5 should be fine. Three and a half. And I'm just going to grab that. There we go. So I'm just going to ink all of these. Obviously that's not necessary. You don't have to do that. It's just how I like things. So I've just inked around the edges of those ones, and then I'm bringing this one back. Is that upside down? I think it is. Yes, it is. So I'm going to just kind of line this up where I need it to sit. About there. And then, dang it, how is that too long? Nah, that's why. Oh my goodness. Right, so maybe if I get it the right way around. I'm not even going to do that again because it's just too funny. Right, so I'm going to basically draw a line where I want to trim these little bits here. So I'm just going to grab my ruler, and I want it to frame it nicely, but not too far off the edge basically. So I'm going to do that at the top and the bottom. And trim those off. Sorry if I'm talking quietly. I don't know why I said it like that way. Sorry if I'm talking quietly. My son is in bed next door. I normally film when he's at nursery, but I just didn't get the time. So I'm doing it while he's asleep, and I'm trying not to be too loud because I don't want to wake him, obviously. So I'm sorry if I'm being quiet. That's pretty much it. I'm sorry if I'm being quiet. So I'm just scoring, sorry, not scoring, marking where I'm going to need to score for that fold. And I'm going to grab my scoreboard. Obviously, if you don't have a scoreboard, just fold it. Just fold it right there and you'll be fine. I'm like that person with a convertible in winter, but I want to use it. So I'm going to use it. It's something that I very rarely use, is my scoreboard. So when I get the chance, I'm like, oh, I could use this for that. And then I usually mess it up. So I'm like, why didn't I just fold it? So it's like when I try to cut something and measure it, and I'm like, I always manage to mess up. I'm like, but I measured it. I measured it. How? So I'm just going to fold this and pray that I got it right. Oh, I did. Look at that. I got it right. So I'm going to now ink this one, and I'm also going to ink the folded area. Oh. So I'm going to fold it in on itself, basically, and just draw a line with the ink, basically. I don't know why I keep saying basically. I seem to have a word in every one of my videos that I just repeat constantly. It's usually little, but today it's basically. So I just grabbed needle, thread. Well, I've got my needle in this. Don't judge me on the pins. I've just got my needle sitting in there, and I've grabbed some just regular cheap white thread. And someone has asked for a sort of tutorial on how I made this. I will do it for you, definitely, but it won't be till after Christmas. But I will definitely have a video coming up on how I made this. So stay tuned for that. And I've got my little pop buttons. Someone told me that they're also called snappers or snaps. Snaps maybe. I think that's what we call them as well. I don't know why I call them poppers. I think it's just that's how it works in my mind. It's a scary place in there, so I wouldn't try to work it out. So I'm going to try and figure out what ones I want, because I don't want it to be too big, because I don't want it to be bulky, if that makes sense. But I want it to be big enough that obviously it's going to hold it. So I think I'm going to take these two that are just slightly smaller than, like, these are my bigger ones, and these ones are just slightly smaller. So I'm going to take two of those. Obviously you can use one. You don't even have to do this. You could do the same closure that I did in my previous ones, where I put a hole here and then used seam binding or sari silk as a tie. You could definitely do that. It's entirely up to you. You could do it in another way, and if you do it another way, let me know, because that would be cool to know. So I'm just going to take some thread. You can also do a tutorial on how I made this little guy, because that was made out of a now you get those Johnson earbud containers, like for cleaning your ears. That's what I used to make that bad boy. So if you would like a tutorial on that, let me know, because I can do that for you guys too. I keep trying to like speak up, and then I just go right back to silence. Not silence, but quiet. It's like a subconscious thing where I'm trying not to make too much noise. So I'm putting a decent sized knot in this. So one other thing I would advise that you use is just a regular piece of card, and I'm just going to trim off a strip, not measuring it, doesn't matter, and I'm going to cut 2 pieces, and they're literally just big enough, well, slightly bigger than my buttons. And what I'm going to do is glue these to the other side of my card, and that's just going to thicken it so that there's more structure for my button to be stitched onto. So I'm just going to pop some glue on the back of these, and then roughly where I know I'm going to be putting my button, I'm just going to stick them down. Obviously you're not going to see these. Definitely don't go with like something that's like a dark, like a black card that may show through your lighter card on top. I'm just using plain white. And then I'm just going to kind of measure. This is just shy of 5.5 centimeters. So I'm going to do it just over 2.5 centimeters. I'm going to draw a little line there, and then I'm going to do the same down here so that they're pretty even. Can you see that? So they should sit roughly in alignment with one another. And then I'm going to start with the top button, which is the button part that pokes out. So you've got your hole and your, I don't know what that's called, nub. So I'm going to start with the pointy bit. And I'm just going to stitch those on with my needle and thread. So I'm just going to poke a hole so that I know where to come in from at the back, and then just go ahead and stitch this on. If my stupid ruler will let go of my thread, that would be great. I like to do a few stitches, so I'll do like 3 stitches in every section of the button, and I'll always stick to the same holes. I'm not making lots of holes because that's going to weaken your card. So I'm only making the 2 holes there, and I'm just continually going through them. So I turned the camera off while I sewed those because there was just no way I was going to keep that in frame. So as you can see on the back, I only have 4 holes, and that's what I meant by it's got like 4 sections. So that's what you're wanting. You don't want too many holes because that will definitely weaken your card and most likely result in it tearing off one day when you're opening it, which you don't want, definitely not. So then I'm going to just take another couple of little squares of that just plain white card, and I'm going to glue that over these, and that's just going to help hold those down. Again, I'm just creating structure at the moment. It's not really doing much more than that. I'm just wanting to make sure that this doesn't pull free for any reason at all, but obviously you are sewing into card and it is going to be pulled on quite a lot, so you want to make sure that you're giving this its best chance in life to survive. Obviously you don't have to do this, but I would recommend it. I am absolutely covered in glue again. There we go. So now we can start gluing things. So I'm going to glue this down and my spine down, but I'm not going to glue this guy down yet, alright? We don't want him on until we've got our buttons on the front cover. So I'm going to start with my spine on this one, purely because it's the most annoying part, and I want to make sure it's definitely in the right spot, not going anywhere. Obviously you could sew around this before you stick it down. I just kind of thought of that there now. But now I've already got glue on it, so I can't do it. But you could totally have done that beforehand. So I make sure that that's where it needs to be. And then I'm going to add my glue to the flap. So again, I'm not fully gluing this one down yet because I want to add my buttons. And again, I'm going to fold this now that that's dry. And we now have our flap. And I'm going to line this up and press it in. And because of the type of card, like the cardboard, it will leave a little dent because it's that corrugated, however you say it, it's that card. And so your little button will slide right into that. So I put a little bit of glue in there and I'm just going to hold it down, and then I'm going to put a little bit of glue. Ooh, a lot of bit of glue. Volcanoing already. I've just opened that blooming thing. And I'm going to do the same with that. I'm just going to give that a couple of seconds. I'm going to shove my lid on there before that all spills out. And I'm just pressing them down and the glue, till the glue sets rather. And that's just going to help those stay in place. And they should be in the exact position I need them to be to close this easily. So that's me sewed those on. They can practically disappear into the fabric, don't they? And again, I've only used 4 holes. You can't even see that one there. I haven't put card underneath them because they're mostly on fabric, but I am going to put the little squares over the top. It would help if I took the lid off my glue. So I'm going to cover these up again just to add some more structure. These ones are less likely to be pulled off because of the cardboard and stuff, whereas it's a lot thinner piece of card that the other one is stuck to. But I still like to just be extra cautious. And because it's fabric and everything that they're sewn into as well, they are a lot more secure, but I just like to, I'd rather be safe than sorry, as the old saying goes. So now I can glue this part on. So obviously if you wanted to like sew, like I said, if you want to sew around these, you could definitely do that. If you wanted to just sew pockets on, you could definitely do that. But because I've already stuck down the other ones, I'm not gonna, because I didn't think of it at the time. But it's obviously an option. So that is our cover so far. Pretty simple. I absolutely love the inside. I really love how that's came out. I specifically love that this lines up perfectly here, because that was totally an accident. So, and I probably couldn't have done it if I wanted to. But I just love the whole thing. I think it's absolutely stunning. I've just realised I forgot to put the nameplate on before sticking this down, so I'm going to have to do that later, but we will do that in the next one, as well as creating our signatures. So if you get any ideas for what you would like in this, because obviously this will be the giveaway, so this will go to one of you guys when we've completed it, and I'll pop some ephemera and things like that in it when it's completed as well. So yeah, if you've got any ideas on what you would like inside this, definitely let me know down below. And any other ideas you have for maybe decorating the front or the spine or anything like that. Like, would you want book corners on it, like metal book corners, or would you want lace on the spine to cover the stitching? Like, let me know. Let me know your thoughts down below. This is for you guys, so I definitely want your input. And I really hope you enjoy this little series, and thank you so much for watching and for subscribing to my channel. It really does mean the world to me that you're enjoying my videos and that you're crafting along with me, and it means so much, guys. So thank you so much. I'm really sorry it took me so long to get this giveaway together. I hope you like it, and I hope to see you again soon. I hope you're well, and I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. I'm wishing you a very Merry Christmas, and I'll see you soon. Bye.